things are going pretty well, so not a lot to report. But one thing I think is important, and that is, when you go in and you meet with the staff, they ask you questions every day about how you're feeling, what's going on. One of the nurses that I was speaking with said to me, how are you doing? And I said, I'm doing pretty good. And she said, well, you have 5 more weeks to go yet, so things could change for you. Well, that wasn't very positive. So I think it's important as you're going through this to kind of keep your mental state in good shape. Now, if you're a patient and you're worried about issues below the belt line, if you're finding that you're in a situation where you need to get a check, or you're concerned about a PSA test, or you're concerned about a digital examination, or things aren't working well down there, and you want to ask questions about it, talk to people who have been through it. It will help you tremendously. One of the things, my wife always goes with me, especially when I'm meeting with the oncologist. That's a once a week meeting that we meet and talk, and it gives her a pretty good idea of what's going on. I do the treatments myself. There's no reason to not drive over. The treatments place is probably only about 10 minutes away from me. So it really is not an imposition to get in the car in the morning and drive over. Again, the only problem with driving over every morning is it's sort of Groundhog Day every day. But I guess, if you go into work every day, it's Groundhog Day the same way. But anyway, I've gotten a couple of questions on exactly what am I going through. Well, I had prostate cancer surgery 5 years ago, and they removed the prostate. And the question many times comes up, well, how can you have a rising PSA, and what do they treat if there's no prostate there? Well, your PSA can continue to rise even if you've had prostate cancer removed, or you've had your prostate removed. It still can continue. All you need is a cell or two to start to reproduce, and your PSA will start to go up again. So my particular treatment is using what's called external beam radiation. And what that means is that I lay on a table, and the radiation machine, if you will, goes around my body one swing. It takes probably under a minute to 2 minutes to do that complete cycle, and then I'm off and away. The other type of radiation is commonly called brachytherapy, and many times that's used to implant seeds, if you will, radiation seeds into the prostate. And, if you're looking at prostate cancer at some point in your life, you'll probably be given those three options right now. One is surgery, the other is brachytherapy, and the other is external beam radiation. It's really I talk to guys all the time about issues of the prostate, and eventually they'll talk about it and they'll indicate they've got some issues. And a lot of guys will prefer to go to the drugstore and pick up sort of an over-the-counter solution because they're having a problem with urination or erectile dysfunction or whatever it might be. And rather than going to a doctor and finding out what's going on, they'd rather sort of do it on their own because, they'll say, well, I don't want to waste the doctor's time. Or it's kind of a silly issue and it's not really bothering me that much. Or my favorite is, I don't have time to do that. You got 365 days a year and you don't have 20 minutes to a half an hour to go in and visit a doctor. Come on, guys, you got to think about it. Now, so far, I'm doing very well, not really having many problems. But, we've got 3 million men in the United States who are currently living with prostate cancer. And for the vast majority of those men, it's a wall of silence. They don't want to talk about it. And we need more men out there engaged. I run workshops, I run meetups, I have morning coffee that guys come and they'll call me on the phone, and we talk about prostate issues and what they can do. Now, I'm not giving medical advice in any way, but what I am talking about is the need for men to be aware, to talk about this disease, to speak up. Not only 4 weeks ago, when I first started this treatment, I was really concerned, really nervous. And it really made me remember that an awful lot of men have that same feeling, just even trying to go to in for an annual physical. So I put together a kind of a listing of 10 different reasons why men don't go to the doctor or don't want to get a checkup. And maybe some of these might ring a bell for you. So this is all about awareness, so let's try it. So the first one is, you talk to a guy and say, you need to make a doctor's appointment. He says, I don't have a doctor. That's one. Another one is, there's probably nothing wrong with me. I love that one, right? Next is, I don't have any real symptoms. Well, guys ignore an awful lot of symptoms that they don't know are real symptoms. And prostate cancer can hide in your body and you don't even know it. The next one is, I don't have time to visit a doctor. Come on, guys, you can visit that doctor at least once. I don't want to spend the money is another one. Doctors don't do anything is yet another. And then finally, we have a few more like, I don't need to hear any bad news. Well, maybe you want to hear bad news early than later, when the bad news can be treated versus later when the bad news can't be. The other one too is, we all die sometime. So that's sort of one of those bravado things, and almost like the other one, which is, I can tough it out. But I think the thing that gets most men's attention is, I don't want to get probed down there. And I call that fear of the finger. I fear the finger. And guys, face it, the ladies in your lives go through a lot more on an annual physical or physical exams than we do for that 2 minutes or minute of discomfort. So